Now, I think got the live stream going. Okay, sweet. So that will be on the RPO's YouTube page for your additional entertainment. Cool. All right. Well, it's 10:31 now. We're gonna call this meeting to order. The Cape Fear RPO's Rural Technical Coordinating Committee, RTCC, for its October meeting on this Wednesday morning. And I will start with the roll call. If my tech guy would cooperate, there we go. Okay. Let's see, Helen Bunch. Mo Meehan. Jeff Rep. Nicole Morgan. Matt Kirkland. Gary Lanier. Dylan Bowen. Robert Lewis.
Here.
There we go. Jason Robinson. Damon Kimsky. Madison Ward. Adam Moran.
Hey there.
Excellent. Amy Kimes.
Here.
Ron Meredith.
Here.
Doug Shipley.
Here.
Rob Taylor. Adrian Cox.
Here.
Philip Hart. Bill Hammond.
Here.
Nazia Sarter.
Here.
Wonderful. Welcome back. Jim Ripkalvis.
Here.
Greer Shivers.
I'm here, and also I'm so sorry. I just recently went through my name change, so my last name is now Templer. Sorry to make things confusing.
You were
T-E-P-L-E-R.
fantastic. You were totally fine. I will update my records.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Mark Howeller.
Present.
Yvonne Hatcher. Joy Jacobs. Oh, I saw. Joy, I see you on the call. You might be muted.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Thank you. Tricelle Merritt. Stephanie Ayers.
Here.
And Sam Boswell here. Okay, let me just do one more check through. I know we had some additional people add on. Let's see. Jeff Rep.
Here.
Mo Meehan.
Here.
There you are. I see you, Dylan. Thank you. Okay, I think we're caught up now. Sorry, just checking the participants. Tricelle, did you just join? Do I see you on there?
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We're good. And if I didn't call your name and you're on, if you'll just drop your name and agency in the chat. I was only reading off of my voting roster, but I want to make sure that I've got everybody's names for the meeting minutes. Okay. So, the first item on the agenda is the agenda itself. If anyone has any questions, feel free. Otherwise, can I get a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I make a motion to approve the agenda. Robert Lewis.
All right, I got a motion.
Stephanie,
from
or
Robert
second.
and a second from Stephanie. Any other comments or questions? If not, I will roll call. Mo Meehan,
Yes.
Jeff Rep,
Yes.
Dylan Bowen,
Yes.
Robert Lewis,
Yes.
Adam Moran,
Yes.
Amy Kimes,
Yes.
Ron Meredith,
Yes.
Adrian Cox, Adrian Cox. You might be muted.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes.
Oh, there you are. Thank you. Bill Hammond,
Yes.
Nazia Sarter,
Yes.
Jim Calvis,
Yes.
Greer Templars,
Yes.
Mark Howeller,
Yes.
Joy Jacobs,
Yes.
Trissell Merritt,
Yes.
Stephanie Ayers,
Yes.
and Sam Boswell. Yes. Good deal. Okay, next on the agenda, approval of the meeting minutes from our August 7th meeting. Do you have any questions about those? If not, can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make motion, Nazia.
All right, I have a motion by Nazia
Second by Adam.
and a second by Adam. Any other questions or discussion on this? Seeing none, I will roll call it. Mo Meehan,
Yes.
Jeff Rep, Dylan Bowen,
Yes.
Robert Lewis,
Yes.
Adam Moran,
Yes.
Amy Kimes,
Yes.
Ron Meredith,
Yes.
Adrian Cox,
Yes.
Bill Hammond,
Yes.
Nazia Sarter,
Yes.
Jim Calvis,
Yes.
Greer Templars,
Yes.
Mark Hoeller,
Yes.
Joy Jacobs,
Yes.
Trissell Merritt,
Yes.
Stephanie Ayers,
Yes.
Sam Boswell, yes. Okay.
This is Gary Lanier. I just got on as well.
Okay, awesome. There's a question for Gary and for Dylan. I guess Dylan, you're the alternate. Y'all want me to keep Dylan as the roll call vote, or you want me to switch to Gary now that Gary's joined?
No, let Dylan be the voter because
Okay.
I'm dealing with a bunch of stuff this morning.
Sure thing. I can do that. Okay, next on the agenda is our public comment period. The room here is not exactly crowded. I don't have anybody that submitted any public comment ahead of time. Is there anyone online with any public comment before we get into our other items? Going once, going twice. Good deal. Okay, the next thing, this is more just to put on your radar, and there's nothing for us to do about this today. But just kind of as we get towards the end of the calendar year, wanted to remind you specifically for our municipal appointments. And if you'll recall, that's 2 municipal voting members per county, each with an alternate as well. They serve, according to our bylaws, 2-year terms, and then we work with each of the counties individually to reappoint these municipal representatives on the TCC. Reappointment is possible. There's no term limits. So we can play musical chairs or reappoint people in their same positions. These are all the positions that were for the 23 to 24 term. And so further towards the end of the year, probably in the December, January timeframe, I'll be coordinating with each county to kind of decide moving into next calendar year who will continue to serve on these appointments. But just wanted to put it out in front of you now so that you can have it on your radar, whether you're an alternate who would like to serve as a voting member or vice versa, or if you know of other municipal members in your counties that you think would be good candidates or might be interested in participating in the RPO. Anyway, to put it on your radar. Do you have any questions about this item right now? Cool. Seeing none, then I will just continue moving on. Okay, so this is really our main thing today is the P 7.0 division needs local input points. As many, if not most of you are aware, we've been having these meetings for really months now. At our last TCC meeting, y'all recommended approval of a slate of point assignments for projects that were eligible for regional impact local input points. And now this second time is for division needs local input points. And so I'm going to walk through how our methodology kind of shook out after we went through it, and then have some discussion and potential changes before seeking action from this group to kind of pass it along to the TAC. And again, bear with me. Some of this material will be familiar, hopefully. And I'll try to not ramble too much. So as many, if not all of you are quite familiar by now, with prioritization and with the STI law, there are three funding categories: statewide, regional, and division, each with a different ratio of quantitative data to local input and how that makes up the overall score of projects. We are now in the third of the three, which is the funding category of division needs. At this point, we're at an even split quantitative data and local input. Another way to see it is, again, the local input that the RPO has overall would account for 25% of the project's final score. So as you can see, the idea being as projects in theory become more and more locally based, the weight of the local input increases to help supplement the data-driven quantitative scores in the process. Each RPO and MPO is required to have a methodology that outlines how we assign points. Again, one of the top, I don't want to say priorities too many times, but I'm going to say it again. One of the top priorities of this whole process is that everything's transparent, that any member of the public could go back, follow our work, and understand why we assigned points, where we assigned them. And so our methodology has a ranking approach to it, wherein we consider four criteria, one of them being the quantitative score itself, and then a measure for the division's priority and the county's priority, and then a fourth category for any project development work. That could be feasibility studies, other designs, whether right-of-way is in process. In the packet, there's the full methodology, and so it lists out all the components to that. One difference now that we've moved into the division needs category away from the regional impact is the weighting of these four criteria. At the regional category, it was a 50 20-20-10 split, the bigger weight being on the P7 quantitative score. Moving now to division needs, that is evened out to 30-30-30 and 10, again, to increase the weight of local priority on these projects. And many of you were involved in our county meetings like we did with regional, with the division category. Was it last week? Was it only last week? I don't know. We met to assign a high, medium, low, or none priority ranking to projects, and then fit that into the rest of our methodology to crank out an overall kind of methodology score. And from that point, we assign projects in 3 waves. So the top 2 scoring highway projects in each county get points. Then the top 3 non-highway projects across the entire RPO get points. Maximum points being 100 points per project. And then the remaining points cascade to whatever the next highest scoring projects are, regardless of mode or location. And so that's what you have in your packet, and has been posted online as kind of a draft preliminary point assignment. And so I'll walk you through what that is, and then we'll have some time for discussion. So for the 6 highway projects that kind of automatically make it, 2 from each county, you have the widening of 211 in Brunswick County from Sunset Harbor to Midway. This is picking up where the current widening of 211 stops at Midway. And then the continuing upgrading of US 74-76 to interstate standards from Mako Road to Mount Misery Road. A note on that second project, the US 74-76, this is a project that crosses the boundary between the Cape Fear RPO and the Wilmington MPO. And both of these projects, actually, for Brunswick County, also received points at the regional funding category. In the second table, you have the 2 highway projects from Columbus County. So the at-grade intersection being converted to grade separation at US 74 and Blacksmith, and then the roundabout at the intersection of 410 and Strawberry Boulevard. These were both 2 intersection projects that were kind of, when we discussed regional projects, these were identified as the top 2 projects to put division points on. And between the county ranking and the project score, that's how the methodology worked it out. And then the last table in Pender County, some modernizing US 117, and then converting the grade separation of, the grade separation of I-40 and New Road. For those not in Pender County, it's the name of the road is in fact New Road, to an interchange to relieve existing congestion on I-40, NC 210, and honestly a few other interchanges with I-40. One note about that project, as you look at it, that is one that when everyone in the county got together and met, was bumped up into a high priority project, even though it does not have a great score at this time. So it would certainly need to be studied further. But in terms of it being a priority, the Pender County group bumped it up to the top. So then points cascading to the top non-highway projects. In this case, all 3 of those were aviation projects, which all scored significantly high relative to our other projects. So 2 at the Columbus County Municipal Airport, and then 1 project at the Cape Fear Regional Jetport in Brunswick County. And then from that point, the rest of the points cascade down to the following. We have the project at Mans Harbor Shipyard, and this one, the reason it says preliminary points 20, a lot of the projects at the Mans Harbor Shipyard are kind of divided up evenly in terms of responsibility across the 5 planning organizations that have ties to the ferry division. And so 20 points being the Cape Fear RPO's share of that. If this group and then the TAC ultimately decided that they wanted to, this is a scenario like with any other project where we share responsibility. We could theoretically choose to assign full points, and then that would just mean we would be donating the rest of our points to the other planning organizations to assign points. So just something to keep in mind. The remaining segment of widening to 11 made the list. I guess two more projects at Henderson Field. So that's the airport in Pender County, in Wallace. And then the interchange project at US 74, 76 and Mako Road, just right there in between Sandy Creek and Northwest. So, and here, actually, I meant to do this earlier. If you don't have, if you don't have the packet handy, I'm going to drop this link in the chat. So I just dropped a link in the chat for the total methodology results so that you can see how everything stacked up in terms of its project score, but also the county and division priority, and then the total methodology score, which is then how projects are ranked highest to lowest based on that score. So before I open it up for questions, there are a few things that I wanted to point out. From the results of this methodology, and it's in the methodology that we can certainly deviate from just purely following that total methodology score. But a couple of things for this group to consider. The H090287G, which is the upgrading US 7476 to interstate standards. We would decide to only assign 11 points, which is our share of the project, or to assign 100 points and essentially donate 99 or 89 to the Wilmington MPO, or to choose to take the points assigned to this project and assign it elsewhere, since this project already received points at the regional tier. I also, as you might notice, there was a heavy proportion of airport projects receiving division points. Excuse me. 5 out of our 14 projects. There's nothing inherently wrong with that, but we want to spread them around across the modes. Something to consider. And mostly out of the contrast of there being no bicycle and pedestrian projects that made the list. So additional food for thought. A potential deviation from this methodology for this group to consider might be these 3 projects to not assign points. So upgrading US 7476 to interstate standards. That project already received regional points, the full regional points between us and the Wilmington MPO. In fact, the Wilmington MPO might have put full points and donated 11 to us. I can't remember. And then a 230640, which was the lower of the 2 Henderson Field aviation projects, lowest scoring of all of the 5 aviation projects total. And then also the H090806C, which is the last segment of widening to 11. That one also received full regional points and at a price tag of, I think, somewhere around 215 million. That's not going to be a project that, even in a cycle where there was funding availability in Division 3, that's not going to get funded at the division tier, most likely. And so anyway, so to remove the points from there and to swap it out for these projects, which were the highest scoring bicycle and pedestrian projects. So the Oak Island Greenway, the Penderley bike lanes just outside of Burgaw, and then the next 3 bicycle and pedestrian projects on the list. I believe that first one is in BSL, the second one was in Southport, and the third one that's highlighted in green was in Surf City. My first thought was to put the points towards the one in Surf City, just for trying to spread our points all around. But anyway, I'm gonna pause there. What questions or comments does the group have about these point assignments?
Sam, it's Adam.
What's up?
I like the idea of going with these potential replacements that you have up here.
Okay. Any other thoughts on this list?
Sam, it's Mo Meehan. I agree. I think that it's very heavy on the aviation, and we need as much, multi-use paths and bikeways as possible, I think, throughout the county. I mean, we're really lacking on those. So I think that's a good idea. Of course, I want Southport to be one of the top priorities, but I understand sharing the love.
Yeah. And to make sure that none of our aviation partners think we're dodging their projects, this still gets the highest scoring project from each of our 3 airports. And in fact, if anything, one of the 2 Columbus County Airport projects, there is a reality in which one of those actually does get funded this cycle, which, considering the circumstance, is quite a hopeful look. But yeah, to try to also include bicycle and pedestrian projects, because the division needs category is the only funding category in which these projects are eligible as standalone projects. And so, yeah, okay. And again, something like this, deviation from the methodology would also not only be subject to this group's approval, but also the TAC as well. So thank you, Adam and Mo, for your comments. Do you have any other comments or thoughts on this?
I have a clarification on the table 2, the project for the Cape Fear Jetport.
Yes.
Is that a typo, or I mean, are they looking to bring more Gulfstream 650 planes? Is it to strengthen that there's a lot of call for that, or because you've got here a Gulfstream 650 plane? Can you shed any more light on that?
Yes, ma'am. I think the general idea being that's a bigger plane than what they currently can handle. And so to strengthen the runway, I don't remember exactly why either I worded it this way or it was already worded that way from a previous submittal. But the Gulfstream 650 just as a larger aircraft than what they can currently handle. So the idea being, if you can bring in bigger planes, that's more people, that's more goods. Does that help? I don't know if that's a perfect response or not, but
I was just thinking the description, you might want to think about the fact that it would entice maybe more traffic to the airport or something like that.
okay.
when I read it like we're spending this, we're suggesting to spend this money just for one airplane.
Oh, I see. Gotcha. No, I don't think, I mean, unless one of you has this personal plane that we're doing this project for, I think this would be for multiple. But I'll look back into the records and see if there's a more clear way that we can word this description.
Yeah, that might be a little bit more appeasing, I think.
Okay. Let me write that down. Okay. Any other questions, or comments or suggestions on these point assignments? Okay. Well, hearing none, hold on, let me check the chat. Okay, I don't see any others there. Then could I entertain a motion to recommend this project or this point assignment list with these replacements? And I'll send this out hopefully later today, and also update what's listed on the website.
Sam,
Yes.
hey, do we need to clarify that last replacement with the 3 different options there?
We can, I guess. Sorry, I guess sometimes I do shorthand that only makes sense to me. So let me move things around on my screen here. My proposal was so this would be the Oak Island Greenway and the Penderley bike lanes both receiving 100 points. And then I believe, hold on, let me pull up my list. Thank you for checking me, Adam. Where is it? The airport project that we're taking off was only receiving 80 because we had 80 left over from only assigning 20 to the Mans Harbor Shipyard project. So then this would be to put 100 points on the Oak Island Greenway, 100 points on the Penderley bike lanes, and then 80 points on the Surf City multi-use path. That one receiving the 80 because it was the lower scoring of the 3. Does that help provide clarification?
Sounds good to me. Thank you.
Cool. All that said, is there a motion to move forward with that list and present that as the recommendation to the TAC next week?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to go along with the division needs points assignment as you presented, Sam, with the potential replacements included that are listed on the screen.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Adam. Is there a second for that motion?
I'll second.
Okay. Thanks, Helen. Any other questions or comments before I do a roll call? Hearing none, seeing none in the chat, I will proceed with a roll call, and I'll try to catch, I know a few people joined, and so I'll try to catch you in the roll call. Helen Bunch,
Yes.
Mo Meehan,
Yes.
Jeff Rep,
Yes.
Dylan Bowen,
Yes.
Robert Lewis,
Yes.
Adam Moran,
Yes.
Amy Kimes,
Yes.
Ron Meredith,
Yes.
Adrian Cox,
Yes.
Bill Hammond,
Yes.
Nazia Sarter,
Yes.
Jim Repcalvis,
Yes.
Greer Templer,
Yes.
Mark Howeller,
Yes.
Yvonne Hatcher,
Yes.
Joy Jacobs,
Yes.
Tricell Merritt,
Yes.
Stephanie Ayers,
Yes.
and Sam Boswell, yes. Good deal. Let me just double check. Did I miss anybody? I don't think so. What a wonderful thing to have such a long roll call. All right. And then this is the rest of the P7 schedule. I've shown you this a bunch of times. We're now in the division needs local input, point assignment window. We'll present this list of projects to the TAC next week. We have until the end of November to submit our division needs points. However, several TAC members have several conflicts across November. And so there's a strong chance, unless something unexpected happens at next week's TAC meeting, that our November RPO meetings will just be canceled. And then we'll resume meeting after the holidays. But I don't want to for sure cross those off the calendar just in case something comes up at the TAC meeting next week that needs further attention before this window is closed. So anyway, just to kind of put that on your radar, but I will definitely be sending out updates as to whether the November meetings still stand or if you can have that hour and a half of your life back. Speaking of meeting calendar, moving on to the next item on our agenda. Since this could potentially be our final meeting of the calendar year, I want to go ahead and set our meeting calendar for 2025 because yes, wow, next year is 2025. This roughly follows kind of our normal pattern, a meeting every other month, starting in February with a shorter time between the October and November meeting dates, just so as to not even try to mess around with the holiday season. We don't have the official P8 calendar yet, and so as opposed to this year's 2024 meeting calendar where we could kind of plan around the local input point windows. We don't quite have that, but I think our general meeting calendar of meeting every other month allows us enough frequency and flexibility to meet any of those deadlines or milestones as they'll come up once we have a little more information on how that next thing will go. But looking at this, and we can always make changes later on, but at a rough glance, does anybody have any concerns about this proposed meeting calendar? This again sticks with what is our typical, which is the first Wednesday of the month. And then the TAC meeting 2 Fridays after that meeting, so 10 days later. If there are no questions or concerns, can I get a motion to recommend approval of this schedule to the TAC?
Ayers motion.
Awesome. I got a motion from Stephanie.
Amy Kimes, second.
Thank you. A second from Amy. Any other discussion on this before we do the roll call? Seeing none. I'll do the roll call. Helen Bunch,
Yes.
Mo Meehan,
Yes.
Jeff Rep,
Yes.
Dylan Bowen,
Yes.
Robert Lewis,
Yes.
Adam Moran,
Yes.
Amy Kimes,
Yes.
Ron Meredith,
Yes.
Adrian Cox,
Yes.
Bill Hammond,
Yes.
Nazia Sarter,
Yes.
Jim Rupp Calvis,
Yes.
Greer Templer,
Yes.
Mark Howeller,
Yes.
Yvonne Hatcher,
Yes.
Joy Jacobs,
Yes.
Trissell Merritt,
Yes.
Stephanie Ayers,
Yes.
and Sam Boswell. Yes. Okay, good deal. Once we, as I mentioned earlier in the meeting, once we've ironed out our municipal representatives and kind of cleaned up that appointment slate, probably towards the end of December, I'll send out a bunch of calendar invitations and Zoom links and things to get all this booked on your calendar. But yeah, anyway, just again, another thing for you to have on your radar. And with that, I will move on to, now we're just in the reports section of our meeting. And I don't have too many things. Just wanted to direct you to the revisions to the STIP. That sheet is in your packet. Really the only, mostly it's delaying a few of the project schedules. If you have any questions on that, just feel free to reach out and we'll track down whoever can give us the most up-to-date information on those projects. SPR planning grants. This is an additional source of planning funds that we can sometimes get from DOT to do things like feasibility studies. So people in this group might recall either both of the East Coast Greenway feasibility studies that we did in Pender and Brunswick counties, or other types of corridor studies and the like. If anyone has recommendations or sees a need for studies like that in your area or nearby, feel free to reach out. That will be something, usually the timeline comes around towards the end of the calendar year, beginning of spring, to submit for the next go through. So anyway, just a reminder that that's another resource that we have access to. So if you have project recommendations, just give me a call. Same thing goes for traffic counts. One of our other RPO, fellow RPOs in the state, was recently cleaning out some of their traffic counter equipment, and we hopped on that and took it from them gladly. So just a reminder that if you have any specific roads or areas that you would like traffic counts, just let me know and I'll put on my bright yellow vest and get out there. And then the last thing, this is more geared towards the TAC, but I wanted to let you all know as well. If at any point you have requests for specific presentations, whether it's different branches of DOT or other aspects of the transportation planning process that we go through or that we get really close to, and you would like either me to give you a more in-depth presentation, or we can ask some of our colleagues from around the area, around the state, if they can provide a presentation. I'm always open to suggestions. Just wanted you to keep that in mind. So that is, oh, no, one more thing. Again, just wanted to share this. This is something that NCDOT put out, I think it's been about 2 months now. This Advanced NC website just has information about rethinking transportation funding, built around the idea that the gas tax is becoming less and less sustainable as primary funding source. And so there's a survey on here you can take. They have a calculator that you can basically put in and kind of estimate what your, I guess, contribution or however much you spend related to the gas tax each year and how that might compare to some alternative funding methods. But just wanted you to have this so that you could take a look at it, pass this along to anyone else. This is obviously a hot topic and a complicated one. And so wanted you to see this resource that NCDOT recently made available. Okay, and with that, I'm gonna pause and we'll go on to reports from other agencies. Stephanie, do you have anything to share from the ports today?
As you all probably know, the longshoremen are actively striking. There is no vessel activity at the Port of Wilmington.
Okay. Thank you. I think I saw Kat Peel is on the call or was on the call. I don't know if we have anybody on from the ferry division with a report today. I didn't have anything that I knew of. Hearing nothing, I'll move on. Adrian, Division 3.
Hi, thank you. Appreciate it, Sam. So I hope everyone has the updates in their packets. If we look at the projects in development, the first two projects are bridge preservation on NC 5210, so Surf City. And we've let that project, and we've also let the second project, which is along 133. Both those projects are actually on hold right now for storm response prioritization. So when I have another update, those will probably move over to your construction page, and I'll be able to provide a better perspective on how things are moving along once we get a little bit more past the immediate storm problems. As far as the projects under construction, the first project that's listed is project bridge over 211. That's actually complete and with a punch list that's being gone through. The second project has the same status. The first one is in Brunswick. This one's in Pender. That's bridge 15 over NC 11. That's complete with a punch list ongoing. As we know, 211 was compromised by the storm 2 weeks ago. It's the R5021 project. So we'll have, right now we're doing storm response on that project and can have an update once we have a little bit more time. The next project is W57 and 3Q. That's the project at Longwood and Waccamaw School Road. And that's gone through its final inspection. But again, we're going back and looking at projects that were recently completed to make sure if there's anything that we need to be concerned about after the storm. And then the final project listed is the replacement of the bridge 28 on Long Creek and 210. And that project is about 16% complete. It's a $5 million bridge replacement. It's estimated to be complete in March of 2026. And again, that's probably that contractor may be on hold for right now until storm or storm response becomes complete in Brunswick County and the other counties. As far as our third sheet of list of projects that are resurfacing and maintenance projects, the first project is complete. It was resurfacing of I-40 West between US 117 and NC 210. The next project is sections of Brunswick. It's in secondary roads. It's patching, and it was originally slated to start at the end of October, but because of storms, prioritization, we may put that off a little bit and allow the contractor to we'll work with the contractor to assess that. The next project is resurfacing along NC 50, 53 and secondary routes. That's about 79% complete. The next project was broadband. As far as we know, everything is about 72% complete. The next project is NC 130 and various routes. That is about 52% complete. The next project is resurfacing of NC 53, some secondary roads and non-system roads. That again was also supposed to start in fall. We'll provide another update at the next meeting with consideration for storm response. And then the last project is NC 50 and various secondary routes. It's about 17 miles of NC 53. And it's 90% complete. Thank you. That's all I have to report. If anyone has any questions or comments, please let me know.
Awesome. Thanks, Adrian. Does anybody have any questions for Adrian at this time? Okay. Seeing none, move on to Bill with Division 6.
Good morning, everybody. Bill Hammond, the Corridor Development Engineer with Division 6. Philip Hart, our Division Plan Engineer, had a schedule conflict, so he asked me yesterday if I would fill in and provide a report. Also with me from Division 6 is Ken Clark, our District Engineer. So Philip's report, our Division 6 report, is pages 29 through 42 in your packet. The first project is R2561CA. This is NC 87 Old Stage Road at NC 11 Interchange Project. Estimated completion date is 11/20/26. Currently, utility relocations in progress. The NC 11 bridge construction over Wyman's Creek has traffic detour through Sandyfield. The bridge is expected to be closed until about mid-October. This project is 26% complete. The next project is R5020B. This is US 701 bypass Madison Street, J.K. Powell Boulevard from SR 1437 Virgil Avenue to US 7476. Estimated completion date is 12/20/25. This project is 79% complete. The next project, and there's 4 bridge projects on this contract. HB 0011. The completion date is December 2024. This is one of the 4 structures in this contract. This bridge project is completed except for final layer of surface. The construction project for all 4 of these bridges is going to be 86%. The next bridge, the number 2 structure, is HB 0012. This bridge is also completed except for the final layer of asphalt. HB 0013 is the 3rd structure in that contract. That bridge is currently under construction. And HB 0014, this bridge is under construction with a detour route through Brunswick County. The completion date for this whole contract was December 2024. Your next project, R5819, R5820. This is US 74 at SR 1735 Chauncey Town Road. Convert at grade intersection to an interchange. And it's combined with SR 5819, which is US 7476 at SR 1740 Old Lake Road. Convert at grade intersection to an overpass. This project is to be completed in January of 2026. The bridge girders on Chauncey Road and Old Lake Road are set. The ramp earthwork is complete. Ramp pavement is at 75%. Chauncey Town widening and roundabout construction is underway. This project is ahead of schedule and 71% complete. And that's pretty much it. I'll be glad to accept any questions. The rest of the projects you can read in our report. Philip's really done an excellent job with our report that he does now. And his contact information is there at the last page of his report. I'll be glad to accept any questions if anybody has any. If not, this concludes Division 6 report.
Good deal. Thanks, Bill. Does anybody have any questions for Division 6? Hearing none, seeing none, we'll keep moving. Next up with Nazia with the Transportation and Planning Division report.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I have a few CTP updates and a model update. For Brunswick County CTP, that was adopted back in spring of this year. And the CTP has been closed out. Now that I'm back, I plan to distribute some paper CTPs to the local agencies. So those will be sent out in the next few weeks. For Columbus County CTP, the draft CTP recommendation maps and draft report are under TPD management review. After the internal reviews are done, the report will be sent to the locals for review. And once those changes are made, we anticipate that the CTP will go for local and NCDOT adoption. So all that is coming up for Columbus County. Pender County CTP, our survey closed on September 1st. The committee hasn't met in a few months since I've been gone, but now that I'm back, we will resume meeting and we will go over the survey results. The last update I have is the Wilmington Travel Demand Model for their next MTP is ready for MPO project testing, and we started those tests recently, and that will become official when the MPO adopts their MTP end of 2025. So that's still ongoing. All other updates are in the packet. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer. Thank you.
Thanks, Nazia. Does anybody have any questions for Nazia today? Okay, seeing none, I'll move on. Welcome back, Nazia. Okay, Kim with IMD, do you have any reports or any updates from IMD to share with us today?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I only have one update. It is that we are working on finalizing the agreements for Southport and Oak Island's multimodal planning grant internally and hope to have them to the awardees within this month.
Awesome.
That's all I have.
Good deal. Thank you. Thank you for that update.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Greer, do you have any updates from MPO? I'll update your contact info on the screen for next time.
Of course, and I thankfully still have my domain. So that email address will continue to work, but I of course have my updated one as well. So
Okay.
for our updates, just want to let everyone know that the WMPO has received the final study report for the Gullah Geechee Heritage Trail feasibility study and presentations to the WMPO TCC board and the Brunswick County jurisdictions are scheduled to begin occurring this month. Similarly, we are continuing to work on our 2050 MTP. We've moved on to transportation systems and management, as well as working on our fiscally constrained roadway scenarios. A draft of our MTP can be anticipated for sometime in the spring, summer of 2025. And then we are similarly working on our local input point assignments for division need projects. So our window to work on that is September 23rd to November 29th. And then following our recommendations, we will open a 14-day public comment window. And if anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out.
Good deal. Thanks, Greer. And then I think our last one, Mark with GSATs. Do you have any updates for us today?
Yes, we finished the division needs point assignments, and we are well on the way towards finalizing our Safe Streets for All grant. We anticipate adopting that plan in January. And we've also put together a demonstration project for signal preemption for emergency vehicles that would encompass 59 signals and over 200 emergency vehicles. So we're waiting to hear if that application is successful. Like I say, we're well on our way toward getting an action plan in place that would enable us to apply for implementation projects. That's all I've got.
Awesome. Good deal. Yeah, that Safe Streets for All plan it's been a good experience to help be a part of that. So excited to see what comes next. So
Glad to have you on board.
All right. I think that gets to the end of my list of things. Let me double check. Does anybody else have any questions, comments, anything else for our group today?
Hey, Sam.
What's up?
I was just curious, and we don't have to talk about this long or really at all today, but I was wondering what our procedures are in terms of roll call for agenda adoption and that sort of thing. Potentially save a little bit of time in the future for certain meetings and save you a little bit of name calling. I just couldn't remember. Maybe we talked about it about a year ago.
I happen to be very fond of going through the roll call 10 times in a meeting. But that's I don't have the specifics right on my fingertips, but that did cross my mind earlier, Adam. So I'm gonna make a note of that and I will double check. I don't want to misspeak or make a guess, frankly. But I will double check specifically what it says and we'll bring that back with our next meeting. And who knows, maybe that won't include a bunch of roll calls. Does that work for you?
Yeah, I was just thinking for, agenda adoption and minutes, maybe there's a quicker way to do it.
Yeah, I've also been playing around with kind of resetting how our agenda is structured and trying to house more things under a consent agenda type of setup. But given prioritization's schedule, kind of saved those for end of the year adjustments and maybe will be updated going into 2025.
Awesome. Thanks for all the work you do.
Well, I appreciate everyone being here. Appreciate your support and partnership on all this thing. All right. Well, I guess last call, are there any other items to discuss with the group today?
Sam, I apologize for not being at the first part of the meeting. I was double scheduled. And y'all may have already mentioned this, but I just want to give a big thank you from Brunswick County for everything that Division 3 has done for us with the storm response. It's just been amazing. And we are just very thankful that it wasn't worse and appreciate they're still working hard on our getting everything back to normal. And we just really appreciate it.
Absolutely. No, that actually, sad to say that slipped my mind. Helen, thank you for catching that. Absolutely a huge thank you to our NCDOT partners, given the recent storm events. Yeah, they've been superheroes for sure, helping our communities respond to the craziness. So yeah, I echo Helen's comments. Thank you to our NCDOT folks. Okay, well, unless there's anything else, it is 11:35 and we are adjourned. So thank you all for.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Everybody have a good day.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Sam.